This week on Hermitcraft.
Oh, that's meant to be a starfish. There we go, that actually looks much better.
Welcome to the Hermitcraft Recap, the Cub fan, Mumbo, and Joe Hills show. While some hermits have been at too many games or are taking a quick vacation while the sun is out, we only have 8 videos to cover this week, which in itself feels like a quick vacation for us, especially compared to the beginning of Season 5, which had 80 videos per week. This is us scripting this from an inflatable pool with an iced tea in one hand. And with that out of the way, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week. Starting with Cubfan, who finally notices that time paradox we mentioned in last week's recap.
Alright guys, so what are we going to do today? Well, I was looking around the island here, thinking about, the meteor, the UFOs we got here. I noticed there's quite a lot of mushrooms here for being a pre-mushroom island, right?
To fix up the subtle logic of the base, Cub goes out of his way to remove all the giant mushrooms from this once mycelium island, and that would be it for any other player. Still, this is Cubfan we're talking about, so of course he had to retangle the logic of it by introducing giant mushroom trees.
Yeah, I think we got all of them now. Just double checking. Of course, our house is sort of the outlier now, but it still looks like it fits in, I think.
For the sake of our own sanity, we'll just pretend that these are some bizarre arboreal wonders, like that there is a brown slab tree, and the other one is a polka dot tree, soon to be harvested and processed into the finest underwear.
Alright guys, this is much better.
The conversion of a mushroom field into a forest takes up an entire Q&A episode, so check that out if you want to know more about Cub. We personally prefer our questions answered by the cold, unfeeling machine that is Jarvis.
If you found a new planet, what would you name it? It can't be Cubland. Lol. Of course, it would be Llamaland. No, I'm just kidding. Will PewDiePie be joining us for Season 6? Not a good idea. I agree, Jarvis. PewDiePie can't die in games. He's never died in any game ever, so he would probably just dominate the server, let's be honest with ourselves.
In his third video for the week, Cub introduces more variety to the flower pattern of his island base.
Notice one thing, and that is that there are flowers of only daisies and poppies. And so we want to change that up a little bit.
Those are dandelions, though, and gets around to remaking a flimsy bridge over the open nether into something much safer and much more easily traversable.
To the Mesa portal, which is down this direction. And so we need to make the tunnel big enough we can fly down, because that sometimes happens. Jeez! But unfortunately, guys, that is going to have to wait until next time, because I'm out of time for today, but we'll continue this tunnel project next time.
Joe Hills is doing much the same to Castle Ravenloft, providing more hidden staircases for the D&D adventurers to discover, which means fewer giant pits for Joe Hills to fall down.
Now, this is a secret passage, so it's okay if this feels a little bit behind the scenes inside the castle, because arguably it is behind the scenes inside the castle.
Spring cleaning the castle seems to have bled over into summer now, and there are plenty of chests to clean up so the raiding party of paladins and barbarians don't stumble upon 30 or so stacks of unused building material. At least Joe remembers where he put them, considering that he occasionally forgets that he's built a castle in the first place.
I was thinking, it'd be so cool if there was a video game where you made a vampire castle. Kind of like a build-in simulator type game. And then about 15-20 seconds later, I thought about, oh yeah, I just spent 12 months of my life building a vampire castle in Minecraft. Maybe that's not the best use of my Season 6. That is a thing I should have maybe remembered.
With the secret passages taken care of, it's time to take care of that tomb in the basement, which also gets a few renovations, a portcullis, and some questionable angel statues.
Now, you might say, Joe, why don't you put bunny heads on the angels? Because bunny heads don't have eyes that look in different directions. And if there's one thing angels are good at doing, it's looking out for people in all sorts of different directions. I think my British accent has actually gotten a little bit better, hanging around Python so much. Oh, right, I was just gonna pop right upstairs and get the iron.
Maybe give it a few more tries, Joe. After all that time spent being British in the basement, he heads back up the towers to fill in a few more servant staircases, which might also be used by a vampire who just wants to mess with people, or a YouTuber who's forgotten where that one shulker box went.
I would like to think that I have not ruined anyone's lives with my YouTube videos, though.
And finally, for your daily reminder that the Update Aquatic hasn't arrived yet, we return to Mumbo's aquarium. After the success of last week's roller coaster, Mumbo decides to add even more ocean life to the room, everything from coral and anemones to schools of fish swimming past. And it occurs to us that if the skin server was to suffer a temporary outage, it'd be a little weird seeing a bunch of Steve heads floating around the room in formation.
So if we just pop inside, so we go past our little fish there. Oh, yes! That looks fantastic.
Once he's finished, there's now so much going on in the room that he's barely noticed that a guardian has spawned inside his squid tank and killed all the name-tagged occupants. A cruel reminder of who the real fish is in this game. All this water and glass has put him in a reflective mood, and the very next episode he tours the server and spares us the trouble of recapping his Season 5 activity by visiting everything he's done, from the very first dirt hut in the community area.
And speaking of crazy places, holy mackerel, there is a lot of mobs there. Let's just sleep in the dangerous bed. This bed, ever since I placed it down, has done very strange things while you sleep in it.
To his contributions to the gaming district, both old and new.
We've built a whole bunch of projects here. We've built up our minigame area, this. Now, it has been ages. I can't even remember when we built this labyrinth. I think it was actually about episode 70, so about 100 episodes ago. It's impossible. My highest score, what is my high score? It can't be more than 4.
And to all the work he's done on his base, which has farms for all the things, some of which even still work.
If they're set up like... have they... those guys have just broken. They were fine. They've just broken themselves.
And all of which somehow came from a single guardian farm. The miracle of life, except with more killing of fish. And that's just about it for this week's recap. Our writer is LoyXP, and my name is Pixel Riffs. We're off to enjoy our iced tea, but leave a like while you're still here, and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.